Nice. What an intro. That's awesome. Thank you, Brandon. That's it. Thank you so much.
You could have just asked for it, too.
It's all right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Established Facts Podcast. Welcome to PopCon Indy 2024. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are, I guess, sadly, the closing podcast on the live podcast stage today. But lots more to come for the rest of this weekend. We just got done, Joshy and I just got done recording our Stable podcast and talking a little bit about our most iconic matches, or what we feel like are the most iconic matches in pro wrestling with our friend Brian Daniels. But we're going to have a little bit different, slightly different discussion, not actually too far removed from what our discussion was with Brian, but it's going to be obviously more the Established Facts catered, gaming catered. But before we get into that, allow me to go to the end of our table and introduce everybody coming this way, and then we can talk a little bit more about some fun gaming stuff.
This is Josh.
I'm Avital.
And, of course, I'm your host, Big Don. And, again, thank you so much for joining us. We realized that this is episode 255 for the Established Facts, which is insane.
True. We
and
had a little bit of a break between stuff with life, but, you know.
But 255 episodes, man, that's...
Thanks for coming back.
That's like syndication level times 2.
True.
Like, that's
10
crazy.
Seasons?
Yeah, 10 seasons. And actually, as a matter of fact, since you bring that up, this July will be 13 years of doing podcasting.
Oh, my goodness.
13 years of coming up with just random gaming things to talk about. I remember us doing episode 100 and going, how many more episodes of this do we actually have? We didn't realize we had at least another 155 to go. So, you know, if this is the... What's that?
We did it.
We did it. We did the thing. So, anyway, to get in a little bit of our subject matter, as I had mentioned on the Stable podcast, we talked about some of our favorite and most iconic pro wrestling matches that we remember. I thought it would be really cool, especially because while we were standing at our booth and I was, kind of brainstorming on some fun ideas, there were a couple people who came up in cosplay, and one of them was dressed up as a Animal Crossing character. And I thought, man, one thing that is so great about being at PopCon is how many people just love to show their passion for games and characters in their outfits. And I thought, you know what might be a really fun thing to talk about is some of our favorite iconic gaming characters. Now, I'm even willing to stretch it a little bit more, but that's kind of the foundation of things as to what we want to start talking about. And if we want to veer off into a different direction, I think that's totally fine, which we normally do. But I think it would be really fun to have a discussion on some of our most iconic or favorite gaming-centric characters and why. Maybe what games they've come from, and maybe some things, if we don't want to give spoilers on some things, that's fine. But if you want to give a little bit of spoiler on why they are pretty cool, or like a story piece that goes along with them, I think that would be great. So now that I've stalled a little bit with my vocabulary, I want to start down at the end with Joshy, if that's okay. Josh?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Nathan Drake.
From
the Uncharted series.
Nice.
It's for so many years, there have not been very many good Indiana Jones games, except Tomb Raider, which is not Indiana Jones at all. That's Lara Croft. And
right.
She had a ton of different games, and I have not played most of them, but I've played all 5 Uncharted-themed games, 4 of which had Nathan Drake, and then Legacy had 2 of the side characters with their own mission, which is why I'm really looking forward to more Uncharted with other side characters. But Nathan Drake was a smart aleck who was relatively intelligent archaeologist type, like your Indiana Jones character, who also used guns. And especially as we got closer to the end of the 4th one, where we find out he gets married and then he has a daughter, being married with a daughter and son, you start to see that it's almost like I've watched Nathan Drake go from this young, excited kid to now having to be responsible while also being a ridiculous archaeologist. Nathan Drake has been one of the best Sony characters for me to follow along the PlayStation 3, 4, and ultimately the remasters on PlayStation 5.
So, Joshy, I wanted to ask you, thinking about this idea of Nathan Drake as a dad, and I haven't played the Uncharted games. I might have touched on them a little bit, maybe at your house, because you tend to be the more PlayStation-oriented player and stuff.
I love single-player RPGs.
Right. And I've seen a lot of the Uncharted games, gameplay-wise, as well as fun little videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What sort of playground equipment do you think Nathan Drake buys for his kids?
The playground equipment? I'm sure he has a national parks pass.
Yeah.
Why have playground equipment when you can go cave?
Well, you can go
diving?
actual cave crawling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's good. Avital, what about your first?
It's kind of funny because a lot of the games that I like, video and computer games that I have experienced, I haven't played because I would watch my brother play a lot of games and then I watch streamers play games. But I think an iconic game character in maybe a different sort of a way is actually Steve.
Okay, from Minecraft?
From Minecraft,
Okay.
the Minecraft character.
Yeah.
You, basically, because, sure, there's the basic Steve skin, right? But it is just you. It can be whatever you want it to be, whatever you want it to look like. And honestly, if you think about the fact that this dude can punch a tree and get logs out of it, I mean, I'm sorry.
That's very valid.
Or punch into the side of a mountain and get rocks and not have broken hands.
And not just a rock, a perfectly cubic rock. Just
He can swim up a waterfall.
Yeah.
He doesn't immediately die in lava. He will eventually.
Right.
It doesn't immediately die. It's iconic in a different kind of a way, just because he's powerful if you actually stop and think about it.
Yeah.
But then it's also just the fact that, like the game Minecraft, the character can be changed to look like how you want it to, to exhibit, whatever personality you want it to have.
Nice.
think
I
it's
like
cool.
that. Have you been to the Minecraft exhibit at the Indianapolis Children's Museum?
I have, actually.
Oh my gosh.
That was very cool.
They have a
very cool.
3-foot by 3-foot cube that is supposed to mimic the size of a Minecraft block. And that, standing next to what is supposed to be represented by what you're actually breaking in that game is insane.
yeah.
It's insane. But if you
It's just like visualizing the 5-foot space in a role-playing game.
It's hard to
laying out in your backyard what a 5-foot by 5-foot square looks like, and that way you can figure out what flanking and adjacent looks like in D&D. Yeah. That tracks. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm going to start out with probably one of my just top favorite characters in a video game. Specifically, this is the man himself, John Spartan, aka Master Chief. Spartan 117 is definitely one of my most iconic and favorite video game characters, gaming characters in general. I've got a ton of micro. What are they called? Or they're like Legos. I can't remember what the heck they're called now.
Minifigs.
Mega Blocks.
Mega Blocks, thank you. Mega Blocks does the Halo licensing for their set, and so I have an actual John Spartan. I actually have. I was just showing it to somebody here at the show. I have on our table just about every year a Master Chief helmet with stand that came with the original Halo 3 Legendary Edition. One of the very few games I have ever stood in line at a GameStop. Actually, as a matter of fact, I believe at that point it was still EB Games. I don't think it was even GameStop then. For, I think, 2 hours for the midnight release at the mall. Like
Oh.
I don't do that, but I was so excited about that game coming out, and just good storyline. And then of course when 343 took it over, and they did Reach, and I fell in love with Reach. That's such a good story. Just good characters. I have unfortunately not watched yet the actual Master Chief series on Paramount
called Halo.
Plus.
Me neither.
Is it on Hulu?
Paramount Plus, it's called Halo, not
Halo.
Master-
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, I'm talking about Master Chief.
I
That's
understand.
what I said. The Master Chief series. Halo
Halo, yeah.
on Paramount Plus.
Halo.
I have not watched it yet, but I do look forward to actually sitting down and watching it, regardless what other people's opinions are, because I don't usually take those into consideration until
I
after
enjoy
I've
it.
seen it.
I've not played the Halo games and still. I've played one of them.
Okay.
Still enjoy the series.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. So, so that's my first. Joshy, you have another one in the chamber?
I do, but I'm going to throw one in for my wife because
Oh,
she
yes.
wasn't able to make it. And
okay.
I know for a fact that Mario is her go-to.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
And it's
Deep.
not because he's a deep. It's not like we have deep story coming from Mario games.
Right.
It's almost always somebody gets kidnapped. Mario has to save them. That's just
right.
kind of the storyline. But there is a calm comfort in a Mario game that you can just pick up a Mario game and start playing. And
Yeah.
I have to give Nintendo so much credit for that. Whether it be Mario Kart, Mario RPG, Paper Mario, or Super Mario Brothers 3,
Paper
my wife's
Mario.
personal favorite game of all time. You can just pick it up and it's like riding a bicycle. It's amazing. So I'm gonna put that out there for Deb. Hopefully she listens to this and understands we were thinking about her. My next one is I'm a big PlayStation player. We've mentioned this before. So I'm going to put out there, especially now that the franchise is showing up on PC, I cannot recommend enough the Horizon series, the two series of games, Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, with Aloy as the star. And this is not a sexist comment by any stretch of the imagination. I'm actually quite glad that we're getting more female leads, especially in games.
I agree.
And me being a tech guy, there was a lot of technological involvement in a post-apocalyptic world. And the fact that she was a master over it was fascinating to me. And there's so much to that story. Her use of the bow was a great fighting mechanic, but her ability to scan these robotic creatures to figure out their weaknesses, all while trying to figure out why she even exists in the first place. It's a very good game. It's challenging, but both the first two games have been very good, and I'm ready for the third one already.
All right. I like that.
Cool.
All right. What are you thinking, Avital?
Well, before that, I just want to mention I never really played Halo, but I did watch my brother play a lot of it. And I remember there was one of the games, I don't remember which one, and like the ending made me cry.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously it's a good story.
Right.
And also, Paper Mario on the 64 was like one of my favorite games to play because I'm not that great at games, and it was a turn-based combat system.
Are they coming out with another Paper
There
Mario?
is one out.
They're
Is there one out?
remastering it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
So are they doing
it's
it?
a previous Paper Mario that's been remastered for Switch, I believe. I think it was a GameCube Paper Mario.
Well,
I
I
might
don't
be
know.
wrong on that.
I
but
just know that there is a new.
there is a new
Yeah,
one
I think
out.
there's a
There's
new.
one
Okay.
out already.
Okay.
Yeah, but and like I said, I never played a lot of games, but I will mention what I think is a pretty iconic character, and my friends are currently a little hyper fixated on shows based on this character. Is Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I mean, like, this is a blue hedgehog that runs really fast. Like, where did this idea come from? Like, it's such an interesting thing to think about because,
What, Sonic the Hedgehog, or people being obsessed with him?
oh, I mean, people get obsessed with lots of different things.
Okay.
Yeah, no. My friends are just like, oh, watching the shows a lot right now. But
Sega needed to combat Mario. That's what happened.
and so they're like, blue hedgehog.
Let's make a fast hedgehog.
A fast hedgehog, yeah. But he really is iconic. Like,
yeah, he is. Especially with the resurgence from the movies.
Oh, yeah.
And Paramount actually listening and spending $30 million to correct their mistake.
yeah, that I thought was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like on their part that they
Yeah.
actually paid attention because people were so upset about it. And there's some like big heavy duty like Sonic fans and they were not happy.
No,
I
I
mean,
wasn't.
I didn't
was
know enough to really like know
He had a
anything
human
about it.
smile, if that tells you anything. Like, he had human teeth. It was really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does sound a little weird.
And like a button nose. Like, it was so strange.
Yeah. Yeah, it was weird.
Yep.
Okay. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Sonic
That's
the
good.
Hedgehog. Iconic.
Mario and Sonic.
I hope you're writing all these down because it might be time for a new Madness tournament. Our original video game Madness where Mario beat Master Chief.
I probably should have started writing these down. I'll just go back and
haven't
listen
said that
to it.
many
That's true.
so far.
Done 5.
That's true.
6 with Mario.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 2, again from another franchise series, Ezio Auditore
Ah, yes.
from Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Assassin's Creed Revelations. I think the whole 3-episode series of that character. You had mentioned watching your brother play Halo, and at the end of one of the Halo games, like something happening, and it really being very emotional. At the end of Assassin's Creed 2 Revelations, I'll just spoil it because the game's been out for a million years. The fact that you are with Desmond and you are following along in his like internal genetic sort of monologue, if you've played through the first game and kind of know what is going on, I feel like you get so connected with Desmond, who is like the current time character that you're playing the past ancestry of, and then also in partnership with Ezio's character in Revelations, they give you an opportunity to go back to Altair, who is the first character in Assassin's Creed that you play as, and see all 3 of those storylines coalesce in such a beautiful way, and it's so neat. And obviously, like, the game, for what it is, you're an assassin running around and taking out these evil Templars because they've got these pieces of Eden and they're trying to take over the world with all these mystical godlike powers and stuff like that. The storyline is, or the plot line is really cool, but the story itself with those characters, I just feel like there's something about Ezio specifically. Like, if you've played the later games, they're still really good. Like, the storytelling in the later games is still really good, but that character, for some reason, for me, just connected so well, and the gameplay throughout his specific trilogy, I just feel like really flushed out him as a young man becoming an assassin, then him in like that middle, like 30s to 40s year old, as an established assassin building a brotherhood, and then him being an old man and then bringing everything together as Desmond's story is also ending was just so really poetic, I think, the way that they built it out. And I really love, I just really love those characters. I think we can all say this, like, Mario and Sonic have their backstories, if you will.
Sure.
But I feel like what's...
And are iconic.
And are iconic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like what is incredible with, like, games, I would say, within the last 20 years is they're really giving you something to chew on for those characters to really connect with some of that story. So real quick bookend, the new Paper Mario game is Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door.
Yes,
which
that's
was
it.
a
GameCube game from 20 years ago that they've remastered.
For Switch. Okay. All right.
So now,
I
thought this because we were all right. It was just like, what's the detail? Now,
right.
Okay.
I don't have a Switch anymore.
That's right.
I gave it to my nephew.
I'm going to put another one in there, and if I'm putting words into my wife's mouth, she'll correct me later, I'm sure. But an iconic character that at least I can think of that I see her frequently interact with is the Sim.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
sure,
of the
for
Sims.
Sure.
Sims, yeah.
She particularly started playing, I think she did play a little bit with Sims, but Sims 2 and 3 were her go-tos
Yep.
until recently she finally picked up 4 because 3 kept dying.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
So, but just the sim in itself and that ability to play the life sim, and those God mode characters, your your civilizations, your Age of Empires,
Yep.
StarCraft, even where you've got that big top-down view. But the Sims was so different because you were playing the individual themselves and their families that you were forming. It was. I know that was a big impact for Deb, and I'm sure she has others, but those are the most recent in my memory. But the next one I'm going to put out there is very recent, but I believe, especially, and this may be recency bias, and I'm totally okay with that. If you've played it, one of the 6 or more side characters for Baldur's Gate 3 have become iconic characters.
Yeah.
For me, Astarion and Shadowheart stand out probably the most. Not that there aren't others in that, but my playthrough,
Right.
Had the romantic relationship with Shadowheart, while also seeing just the crazy stuff and the real battle that Astarion, the vampire, had to go through. Let alone all the way to the end of that. But those guys, I just looked at Neil Newbon, who voiced Astarion, has completely reinvigorated his career as a result. And that, people have their opinions. I have my opinions on Wizards of the Coast as a company. But Larian Studios made Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year and earned it. And it was...
Oh, yeah.
Those characters are now iconic as a result. I really do believe that.
I like that. I like that. That's good. And I like that it's kind of a modern twist on those... On those, I have not gotten a chance to play Baldur's Gate at all, but I hear nothing but incredible things about the game. So I do like the fact that I think it's fairly easy, or I should say it's an easier pursuit when you're playing in a role-playing game to get a little bit more meat out of a character. You said Baldur's Gate 3, and the first thing I thought of was those Forgotten Realms era games, because like Baldur's Gate 1, 2, and 3 are all based on the same Forgotten Realms area for like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite characters from that is what you reminded me of was Dritz de Erden, who we've talked about a few times with like those characters.
Thinking about that.
So I'll hand it over to. I hope I didn't take that from you.
You didn't.
Okay, good.
He's due for another video game. Let's put it that way. Because the last one they did for him was awful.
You know what? I really loved the effects of that game, but the game itself was just not good. Yeah.
No. I know nothing about the character, but I was literally just thinking about it as like an honorary mention of a character that nobody knows how to say their name.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
So you guys can chime in about this character because I've never played any of these games and not watched as much of them, but I feel like I would be doing a disservice to Princess Katie if I did not mention Link.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I don't have as much experience with him either, but it's that same thing. It gave the RPG style game a face on the Nintendo Entertainment Systems.
Yeah.
Because you had the side scroller that was Mario, and Link and the Zelda games were your RPGs. That was the top, usually a top down, maybe get into that turn-based type thing. He was the face of the RPGs on Nintendo.
Well, and I think what's so iconic about Link is that he definitely, not to say that he was the first role-play character in a video game, but he became popular in an era of, coming out of like the whole RP Satanic Panic stuff and like how role-playing games and Dungeons and Dragons were evil. But you had like those incredible characters like Link that mostly came from text-based, computer-generated RPGs. Like there wasn't like a lot of action involved. It was just a lot of role play.
Right.
Unless you played on a tabletop. And then you have Link, who's like this cool top-down character, and
Yeah.
you're running around and like fighting Ganondorf and all these, all these different things. It's like, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I'm glad you mentioned him too, because Katie would be disappointed for us to not mention
Right.
Not
him.
mention, yeah.
Yep, that's good stuff.
She's a big fan, big fan. And I literally just saw a cosplayer, and that's just why I thought about it.
Okay,
I mean, there's one there, but there was also another one.
there you go.
Yeah, we had a great interaction with a young person dressed as Link as well, and
From what was it? The
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom. I almost said Shattered Kingdom, and I was like, that's not
not right.
right.
That sounds
That's
like
not
if it
right.
was a game, it would,
Yeah,
be,
it's-
it would
Right.
be interesting.
sounds like a Zelda game too.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you have another one? You going
not
with
at
Link
the
for this
moment.
role? Okay. All right. That sounds good. So mine is a little bit of a twofer, because of the genre of video game.
Okay.
Just to make it a little easier. These are going to be coming from the Star Wars universe. I just thought of a third, but that one's an obscure character, so I will leave him alone. Cal Kestis
Yes.
and Starkiller from the
Force Unleashed and
series
the Jedi
and the
Survivor.
Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order series. Those two characters, I talk about them all of the time with my kids because they've watched me play Fallen Order.
Yeah.
I've not gotten a chance to play Survivor yet.
It's on Game Pass now.
Survivor is? Okay, well, I know what I'm doing after PopCon. So they've watched me play Jedi Fallen Order. They've even started their own character in the game and stuff, and they're really into it. They love it. Like, we all love Star Wars and stuff. But I was telling them about Starkiller and about how this guy is Darth Vader's apprentice, his secret apprentice, and they lost their mind. They were
Yeah.
like, what? And I was like, dude, let me just tell you. Yeah, yes.
And as they get older, when you find out that the voice of Starkiller is also the voice of Darth Maul in the Clone Wars.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
I'm watching the Clone Wars
Oh, there you go.
actively for the
We're
first
on
for the
season
first time.
1.
That's so good.
2. We're on season 2.
Nice.
I'm on
Well, I guess maybe I'll have to
3,
start watching it
4.
too. We can all just talk about
it over, yeah.
Clone Wars. That sounds good. I like it. I've tried to start Clone Wars. Not to say I have started Clone Wars multiple times. My kids watch it while I'm at work.
Sure.
So then I get, episode 1, 2, 3, and then I get episode 27 and 28, and I'm like, what is
You have to keep track of
actually
your own.
what
Where
is
am I at?
happening? What is happening right now?
That's why you give them their own account. You guys go watch it over here.
Yeah,
That way
yeah,
I keep track
absolutely,
of it.
absolutely. So yeah, those are my
great.
Star Wars iconic characters. The third one that I thought of, which again is a little more obscure, is actually from what would technically be like the Star Wars expanded universe. But back in the day, during N64 days, there was a game that came out, was a Rogue Squadron, and then there was one that came out before Rogue Squadron. I cannot remember this, but it was Dash Rendar. Dash Rendar was a main character. He's kind of like a Han Solo-esque character. He actually piloted a ship very similar. It was a Corellian class ship. Anyway, yeah. Obscure character, but great game.
Cool.
Lots of like first person flight sim content on the N64, which
Yeah.
is if you've ever
Sure.
played Star Fox,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what you're getting. So,
All right, I'm gonna
Joshy,
get strange.
Go for it.
This isn't necessarily strange, but it was this visual came to me, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna call that an iconic character. You ready? The race car, and the boot, and the dog
I love
from
you
the
so much.
board game
from
of Monopoly. The top hat and the
You know what?
thimble.
I will say, I think the race car has probably started more fights in Monopoly
Yep.
at least
Race
at the
car.
beginning.
The race car, especially
race
for
car.
families of racing families, like
Yes.
in my
Oh,
family.
okay. Because I
it
was like, it's the
you don't touch
dog.
a race car.
I'm
The dog.
I'm right there
Dog
with
too,
you,
yeah.
Avitol. Yep. My wife Bonnie, she's a thimble fan. She plays the thimble
I
a
also
lot.
like the top hat.
Yeah.
But I don't play Monopoly anymore.
it's
That
fair.
is so
game is-
But I
funny.
mean, they're iconic,
That
right?
is-
Like,
they
are,
100% are.
You can almost go the same thing with Clue. Like
I was
the
literally
rope
just gonna
and
say that.
needle
Yeah.
stick.
And even like the Monopoly Man.
Yeah.
Right, like-
Uncle Pennybags. Pennybags. Yeah.
Pennybags.
He has a first name, but I cannot remember what it is right now.
I
Mister.
don't know if I ever knew it.
His first name.
That
Mister.
that's okay. Sure,
I
we'll
don't
go
know.
with Mister. Yeah, it's
Milton,
Milton.
yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be funny.
We're
Milton.
naming the character.
Clyde or something.
Yeah.
Great.
This is
Yeah.
his name.
Anyway,
Those are. I almost said the meeple. Like
the
meeple
meeple
by itself.
The
is
meeple.
an
Yeah.
iconic character.
If
The
you're
meeple,
if you're not a board
sure.
gamer, the meeple is definitely an iconic. It's at least an iconic piece, if not an iconic character.
Yeah.
In the game. Yeah. That's too funny.
And
I'm
Oh
sure
my
I could come
gosh.
up with more, but yeah.
Oh, that was
I
good.
mean, like the Clue characters too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Mrs.
Colonel Mustard.
Scarlet,
Like,
Colonel
even if
Mustard,
they don't necessarily have
Mrs.
personality,
Plum.
although I think some of them did actually describe a personality in,
Yes.
in the rules. If
Yeah,
you
in the
actually
old
read
in
them.
the old version where
Old
you
one.
actually have like kind of the
There's a
backstory
little,
of some of the
there's a
characters.
little story of the character
Yep.
actually.
And if you've never read the instructions, just watch the movie.
Yeah, you'll get them.
Yeah, Milburn,
Milburn
penny bags.
Penny bags.
That's awesome.
Milburn.
That's so good.
That-
That's good, Josh. I like that one. I like that one. That was kind of outside of the box. I dig it.
We talk about all things gaming.
No, that was great. I like it. I'm surprised you didn't say the dragon in Dungeons and Dragons.
Tiamat.
Tiamat. There you go.
Dragon.
Yeah. Man.
What's the
Yeah.
what's
that's right.
the like really not Raceland, though that's a great iconic character
Yeah.
in Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Who's the one in Dungeons and Dragons? Elminster.
Elminster?
I can use that one because
Yeah.
he is a like story character
Yes.
in Baldur's Gate 3.
And
Ah.
And the
and-
other ones, I believe.
Yep, and in the Forgotten Realms books.
Yes.
Yep, Ed Greenwood wrote Elminster. Yes. Yeah, Drista Erden, Elminster, all those guys. Guardians of the Hall. Yeah. What do you got?
Not a lot.
Okay.
More.
That's all right. You got one more?
I do.
Go ahead, Josh.
So Ratchet and Clank.
Oh my gosh.
I know it's another PlayStation one, but they've been on so many of the consoles.
Yeah.
And they come
True.
Ratchet and Clank,
Ratchet and
Jack
Clank.
and Daxter, like all of these characters that have come out of Sony's attempt to stand alone.
Yeah.
Cloud Strife, Tifa from. Did I take it?
Take it mine.
I'm sorry.
That's
Final
okay.
Fa-
That's okay.
Take it. No, because you probably have more. I'm only on Final
okay.
Fantasy VII Rebirth. So,
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
I've been like racking my brain because like I'm like what are things from games that I've played that I could actually
Yeah.
talk about and not just say a name. And like I can't think of anything. I'm like I don't play any games ever. And I'm like, well, a lot of the games I played are a lot more recent.
Yeah.
But you know, because there are things visually in front of my face, I'm like sort of a character.
Being inspired.
It's sort of a character, but not exactly. I'm like the Minecraft creeper.
Minecraft Creeper.
It's
You know
had
what?
such an impact.
That is 100% an iconic character in
Such an
Minecraft,
impact.
especially. Yeah.
Just
And my least favorite character is the skeleton. They make me
they're
so mad.
annoying.
They make me
They're
so mad.
annoying.
No, that's good. I think that counts. Hey, if we're gonna count Josh's car, dog, top hat from Monopoly, we can definitely count a creeper from Minecraft.
My creeper, Minecraft creeper.
That's it. That's it. Okay. So I did have Cloud Strife as one, but it's okay that you took him because I did not realize she had a last name. But we were talking about games earlier that have an emotional connection. I can honestly say, and this is a confession from me to my entire friend and family group that are gamers, I have never finished Final Fantasy VII because in that game, Sephiroth descends from the heavens and he runs his sword through the back of one of my favorite characters in that game,
Aerith.
Aerith. Aerith, you know she has a last name? Gainsborough? Not even joking you.
Gainsborough.
Yep, Cloud Strife and Aerith Gainsborough. But because I'm not even joking you, I was so emotionally affected by that game that I had to set the controller down, and I have unfortunately never actually finished it
Oh no.
because it was just so intense. And I was a kid. Like I think I was like late middle school, early high school playing that game, and so it was definitely extremely impactful. for me as a young video gamer playing in a pretty intense and deep RPG to watch her get killed.
So, not a minor spoiler-ish on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
So they're doing Remake, Rebirth, and then a third one.
Yes.
They've broken up the original Final Fantasy game into 3 new games.
Okay.
I will tell you that at the end of Remake, they do not kill Aerith.
Wow.
But apparently, the only thing that people believe is that it may still happen at the end of the third one.
Sure.
But you're going to get to in Rebirth. She's still there, and you find out more because they're effectively pulling a. It turns out there are multiple storylines.
Oh.
That existed. It's like the Crisis Core, which was I think a PlayStation portable game or something, where I cannot remember his name, but they this other soldier character makes an appearance at the end of Remake.
Oh, okay.
And he was from this other Crisis Core.
Oh.
And it says Cloud, Aerith, Tifa, and Barrett are leaving. This guy's bringing Cloud back to the city
Oh, wow.
simultaneously. So they haven't, it's weird how it's coming together. It's great. It's great. And they're coming to PC. As a matter of fact, Remake is already on PC.
All right.
So
I like it. Wow.
they're still probably going to kill Aerith, but
I
at
mean,
least you get to spend more time with her.
yeah, absolutely.
That'll just make it worse.
Sorry,
That's
Final
right.
Fantasy VII has been out way past the spoiler warning. So if she died in the first one, there's a chance she dies in the new ones.
It's very fair. I have thought of another
good.
iconic character. Kirby.
Yes,
Kirby.
Kirby.
I thought about him too. Yeah.
Kirby.
You want a great game like the newest one that they came out with? Not All Star. I think it's Dreamland. Is that the one that is out where it's the 3D one? Whatever the one they did that's 3-dimensional, where you take over the abilities of different people, which I think has always been around. It's such a different because all the other Kirby games are side scrollers.
Yeah.
And much like Super Mario 3D World, when they did this Kirby game, which I cannot remember what it was called right now, Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, maybe that's what it is. They walk around and he can take over a car. Like he sucks up a car and becomes a car.
I remember the ads for the game. It was so silly
It's
looking.
so silly. My kids love it. Taking over a vending machine and shooting soda pops as a weapon. It's great. Must recommend. Kirby's a great one.
Definitely an iconic character. For sure. Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land would be the name.
Yeah,
But yeah,
very cool.
it's just a different, unique kind of.
I know we've been kind of giving tribute recommendations for iconic characters, and so I just thought of this one. This is probably my son Daniel's favorite characters, and I'm just going to kind of lump them in together because in my mind, as a parent at 40 years old, they are all from the same game, even though they're not at all from the same game. Bendy, Cuphead, and Mugman.
Oh, yeah.
Those 3 characters are his favorite. He writes his own little stories in his notebook about Bendy and all of these different adventures that he goes on. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I'm
great.
oh, you really like this Bendy character? He's like, yeah. I was like, well, tell me a little about him. He goes, oh, he's a demon. And I went, okay.
Oh, no. Have you played the Cuphead?
I haven't.
The whole shtick.
I know they make a
I've
deal with
watched
a
them.
devil or something like that.
Yeah,
and
to go
yeah.
fight demons.
They're
Yeah,
scary.
that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not funny,
also
but it is funny.
incredibly hard.
Yes. Yeah.
As is
Yeah.
Cuphead.
He's missing his Cuphead and Mugman game, and he's 1 or 2 bosses away from finishing the game. And we're trying to figure out where the heck it went. So
Oh no.
yeah. But I know that those would definitely be their recommendations if they had them.
Did you just ask what is Cuphead or is that Cuphead?
No.
What did you say?
I said Cuphead is also hard.
Yes.
Yes.
I've
Yeah.
seen people rage over that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never played it because I know that I
Oh,
wouldn't.
yeah.
Right.
There's no way.
Right?
I'm I would not have fun.
Yeah.
I would just not.
No, and that's when I end up in a game like that, it's the reason why I haven't played the Souls games. Even though I've heard Elden Ring at least gives you the option to run away. Whereas the Dark Souls games and Bloodborne, they don't. You get into a fight, you just have to keep trying to kill that thing.
Right.
Or you die, and then it's either you go to it or try and find another way around it. But you cannot run away if you come to it.
Yeah.
With Elden Ring, you can, which I think helped it win Game of the Year that year as well, because it's such a beautiful game and story. Like, you find something impossible to fight. You're like, I can't fight it. You run away, you go fight some other smaller things,
Yeah.
so you're more powerful, and then you come back and fight it.
Yeah.
Seems pretty realistic.
Yeah, From Software knows what they're doing there.
No.
So I'm going to, Peter Parker and Miles Morales from the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
I know I'm all over Sony because
I mean, they were iconic characters before they became a video game, and then they made an incredibly great video game series with those.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and
I agree.
Again, the first two, Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, are on PC. Spider-Man 2 will be coming to PC. For those of you that don't play PlayStation, which is fine, whatever, as long as you're not playing Xbox.
Hey now, I have not done a dig on you one time for your PlayStation.
That's true. I'm just teasing. I can't deny the Xbox.
That's all right. I'm kind of
value
upset.
proposition
I'm
right
upset
now.
with the whole idea of them potentially getting rid of their whole like Xbox console division to just pursue open license gaming. I don't know. I don't know how I feel
Just
about
means you'll
that.
buy a PlayStation.
Yeah, or just a better PC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So no, the
Yeah.
Spider-Man game, particularly the video games here recently, they put a big focus on the story, not only the main story, and I've said this before, but the side stories really provide depth to who Peter is and Miles is, and their relationships with their
and not just
significant
them,
others, and
not just them, but like the villains that are associated
Yeah.
in their universe. Like they have some really cool backstory stuff involved with those characters.
and in 2, they made reference to the animated series.
yeah.
They literally did a bit where you reached into the movie universe,
Oh, nice.
deliver back these robots that had come through.
Well, what's great about that is because they've opened the whole multiverse of Marvel, you can tie so many things in there that would
Oh, yeah.
conventionally not. Like, if you want to do a Lego Marvel movie, you can do it now. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, just because the multiverse exists. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Well, I know that we gotta wrap up. Do you guys have any other ideas? Any other iconics that you want to
I have
share?
One thing to mention.
Go
I've
for it.
Never played this game, but I've seen people play it, and again, it is something that I see for sale on a booth in front of me. But the Squid Kid from Splatoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Just
yeah,
because, like, I know those games are really popular. The Squid Kid from Splatoon.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
All the split. It's the
Yeah.
Squid Kid. Like just because those games are really popular,
Uh-huh.
and I like to see, like, there are like story modes, but then seeing the people playing together and even doing like insane artworks in their like
Yeah.
their little like message thing in game, but like as a character, the Squid Kid and how it operates is such an interesting concept because it like sprays the ink and then it like just like slides into the ink on the ground. Like
Yep.
it's such a funny way of operating, like the movement of it. I think it's neat. Again, I've never played, but
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
So I want to challenge you guys real quick. I just want one quick pick. All right. We talked a little bit about the Creeper. Favorite iconic villain in a game. I can start us out if you want. This might be cheating a little bit, but I can start us out if you want.
Go for it.
Go.
Ganon from the Zelda series.
Sure.
He's in every game, but just the idea of like this, I remember watching my best friend play Ocarina of Time and watching him have to fight Ganon like 3 different times or something, or whatever it was, 2 different times, 3 different times in different like forms and stuff like that. That was always just crazy to me. But yeah, I would have to say Ganon is probably one of my one villain that I think of as an iconic gaming villain.
Well,
So
Do you have one?
I'm going to steal the one that you might say, well, your wife might say, But I'm Bowser.
Bowser.
right?
Yeah,
Come
Bowser.
on,
Bowser's
you know,
perfect.
Bowser is definitely iconic.
Yeah.
For sure.
Have you seen the Mario movie?
Not yet.
Oh, it's so
My
good.
husband watched it on
It's
the
so
plane
fun.
actually, and
Yeah.
I kept like being distracted,
What's
and I'm
that?
like, yeah.
Peaches by Jack
All right.
Black. Yep.
Peaches.
Speaking of that, if you've not heard his "Baby One More Time," Tenacious D.
Oh my gosh, it's
great.
insane.
Bowser's a great choice, but I actually had a different one.
Go for
It's
it.
your fault too.
Ooh.
I cannot wait to beat Sephiroth again.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes.
I mean,
Such
I
a good
enjoyed
villain.
the Sinister Six from the first Spider-Man movies. I enjoyed the different people trying to take all the stuff from Nathan Drake. Aloy has dealt with now an AI that was made giant machines and an alien, which was not really an alien returning. And yet Sephiroth, especially knowing he wants to and originally killed Aerith, I'm so ready to fight
Yeah,
him
yeah.
again. 'Cause we fought
100%.
him at the end of Remake, too.
I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, as we're wrapping up here on the Established Facts live podcast here at PopCon 2024, first off, we want to thank everybody for attending the convention. We want to thank everybody for hanging out with us while we were recording. And then, just to introduce something, one thing that we like to do on the Established Facts, the reason that we have our name is that during our conversation, sometimes funny things get said, or sometimes I'll pick a couple of different themes out based on our conversation and come up with what is called an established fact. That's right. That's why we have our name. So at the end, this is kind of the end cap that seals the deal on our episode. So for episode 255 of the Established Facts, this is what we have established. Characters can make or break a game, but no more than a Monopoly table flip.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Nothing makes or breaks a game more than a Monopoly table flip. All right. Well, we thank you guys so much for joining us here at PopCon and here on episode 255 of the Established Facts. We love you all, and we will check you later.
Bye.
Deuces.